Summary of Hamlet. Hamlet, one of William Shakespeare's most famous and complex tragedies, is a sprawling play exploring themes of revenge, madness, morality, and the nature of grief. Set in the Kingdom of Denmark, the play follows the protagonist, Prince Hamlet. As he grapples with the murder of his father and the moral dilemma of avenging his death, the play opens with the appearance of a ghost resembling the recently deceased King Hamlet, who has been dead for only 2 months. The ghost appears to the sentinels and Hamlet's friend Horatio, who then inform Hamlet of the strange phenomenon. Hamlet, still deeply in mourning, is already disturbed by the hasty marriage of his mother, Queen Gertrude, to his uncle, Claudius. The marriage is particularly jarring as it takes place so soon after the king's death and elevates Claudius, his father's brother, to the throne. When Hamlet finally encounters the ghost, the spectral figure reveals a shocking truth. He was not killed by a serpent's bite, as was the official story, but was murdered by Claudius, who poured poison into his ear while he slept in the garden. The ghost commands Hamlet to seek revenge, but to spare his mother, leaving her judgment to heaven. This revelation plunges Hamlet into a state of deep anguish and an internal conflict that will define the rest of the play. Unsure if the ghost is a goblin damned or a truthful spirit, Hamlet decides to feign madness to conceal his intentions and gather evidence against Claudius. His erratic behavior and cryptic speeches cause concern among the court. Claudius, suspicious of Hamlet's grief and strange actions, employs 2 of Hamlet's school friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to spy on him. Polonius, the Lord Chamberlain, believes Hamlet's madness stems from unrequited love for his daughter, Ophelia, and forbids her from seeing him. Hamlet's feigned madness, however, is so convincing that it's difficult to distinguish from genuine mental turmoil. In a series of famous soliloquies, he expresses his existential despair and contemplates suicide in the famous "to be or not to be" speech. His treatment of Ophelia becomes cruel and confusing, and his relationship with his mother is strained by accusations of her hasty and incestuous marriage. Hamlet devises a plan to confirm Claudius's guilt. He hires a traveling troupe of actors to perform a play, The Murder of Gonzago, that mirrors the circumstances of his father's death. As the play's silent pantomime begins, Claudius grows visibly uncomfortable. And when the actor playing the murderer pours poison into the sleeping king's ear, Claudius abruptly rises and storms out, ordering the performance to stop. This reaction confirms Hamlet's suspicions and solidifies his resolve for revenge. After the play, Hamlet is summoned to his mother's chamber. On his way, he finds Claudius alone, attempting to pray for forgiveness. Hamlet has the perfect opportunity to kill him, but he hesitates, fearing that if he kills Claudius while he is praying, his soul will go to heaven. He decides to wait for a more opportune moment, a decision that will have tragic consequences. In Gertrude's room, Hamlet confronts his mother about her betrayal. He speaks harshly to her, and in the heat of their argument, he hears a noise behind a curtain. Believing it to be Claudius, he stabs through the tapestry, only to discover that he has killed Polonius, who was hiding there to spy on their conversation. Hamlet's rash action results in his banishment to England by Claudius, who intends to have him executed there. Meanwhile, Ophelia, driven to madness by her father's death at the hands of her lover, wanders the court singing fragmented songs. She eventually drowns herself in a stream, a tragic event that further compounds the grief and chaos. Laertes, Polonius's son, returns from France, enraged by his father's death and sister's madness. Claudius, seizing the opportunity, manipulates Laertes into a plot to kill Hamlet. They plan a fencing match with a poisoned foil for Laertes and a poisoned drink for Hamlet as a backup plan. Hamlet, having escaped his execution in England, returns to Denmark. He encounters a gravedigger preparing Ophelia's grave and contemplates the mortality of all men, holding up the skull of Yorick, a jester he knew in his youth. The scene at the graveyard is a powerful meditation on life, death, and the fleeting nature of human existence. The final scene is a culmination of all the tragic threads. The duel between Hamlet and Laertes begins. Claudius offers Hamlet the poisoned cup, but he refuses. Queen Gertrude, unaware of the poison, drinks from it and dies. During the duel, Laertes wounds Hamlet with the poisoned foil. They scuffle, and the foils are exchanged. Hamlet then wounds Laertes with the poisoned blade. As they both lie dying, Laertes confesses the entire plot and blames Claudius. Enraged, Hamlet finally stabs Claudius with the poisoned foil and then forces the remaining poison from the cup down his throat, thus achieving his long-delayed revenge. Hamlet, dying, asks Horatio to tell his story and names Fortinbras, the Prince of Norway, as his successor. The play ends with the arrival of Fortinbras and the English ambassadors, who report that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern have been executed as per Hamlet's earlier plan. Horatio, the sole survivor, promises to tell the full story of Hamlet's tragic tale. Fortinbras, taking command of the kingdom, orders a soldier's funeral for Hamlet, acknowledging his princely status and the tragic waste of his life.